Good evening. It's only another Wednesday. Can you believe it? It seems like only 2 minutes since I was I was live, and here I am again all of a sudden. Hope you're all very well this evening. Sarah here from Funky Fossil. If you're new to our YouTube or Facebook group, so lovely to see you. This is our Wednesday live, 7 o'clock every Wednesday. We do something crafty together, and I can see that lots of you are in the chat already. I'm hoping you can see and hear me okay. I'm seeing comments of hello, so obviously if you can't hear or see me, then somebody give me a nudge. I think Mr. G is going to check, but I don't really know. So let's just say hello to some of the names that I can already see tuning in for our Wednesday fix. We've got Roxy Lee, we've got Heidi, Amanda, hello lovely, Lynn, Kerry, Ali, I saw earlier, Julie, Vanessa. So Heather, Fiona, Mr. Jesus is looking okay. It's a big night of football tonight, so I don't think I'll get much of Mr. G's attention now that he's checked in on me. Hi, Natalie, lovely. Good. I'm glad you can hear and see me. I hope the sun's shining with you. We've had another lovely day here. I don't think it's rained yet in May. It's very strange. Lovely, but it does seem remarkably good weather. So keep our fingers crossed that lasts. Hi, Karen, lovely. Hi, Nicola. You know, my voice has been fine all day, and I go live, and I just get a frog in my throat straight away. So, apologies. Maybe I don't talk much during the day. Hi, Debbie. Yeah, so I've got some apple juice with me. Apple juice, you heard me correctly. So if I do need to take a swig, I shall. We've had some storms, have you, Lynn? I don't know, we've had nothing here. It's been just sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine. It's just very strange. In fact, my parents are due back from Spain this weekend. They go to Spain for a couple of months at the beginning of the year, and I think our weather's been probably on a par with what they've been having. So, yeah, it's been great. Anyway, I digress, talking about the weather, because tonight is another launch. I'm so excited about this one, and I've already seen quite a few orders coming through on the shop from when we put the products live at 5 o'clock. So I have a sneaky suspicion that this is one that you're going to like too. Last week we had the Gamer Zone, which is fabulous, and this week it's a complete change of theme and tack, because we're going to go all high fashion and haute couture this evening. So I thought it would be okay to do two releases back to back, because I think they're going to appeal to very different recipients and create very different kind of crafty projects. So I hope you'll forgive me for packing your May full of new goodies. We're going to have another new collection, not next week, but early in June. And then we've got a couple of weeks family holidays. So that's why things have got a little bit congested, because I need to ensure that these products can get out to you before we take a little bit of a break, and orders obviously will be on hiatus while we're away. So I think you're going to like this one. Ali's in the chat. I know I've seen her already. So let me just say before I forget, I'm going to give away tonight 2 of the full collections. So when you see this collection, there'll be 2 people who win it. Stay tuned to the end of the live. I'm going to announce those winners. Ali randomly selects from Facebook and YouTube, and all you need to do is comment, take part in the chat, so that we know you're there. If you can like and share as well, that's super cool. I do appreciate it. Not everyone can share, and that's that's absolutely fine. But the more people we can tell about our new products, the better. Right. I'm hoping you're all well and getting ready for a little bit of a sashay down the catwalk, because I'm going to go straight down to the overhead. I've got amazing samples from the design team as always. So we'll have a look through the products. It's not a massive collection, but it's a very craftable collection. You'll be able to use all of the the moving parts together, and also with other things we bought you not that long ago. Actually, I'm thinking washi tape, something in flower dance. I think these are going to mix and match beautifully. So we'll have a look through the collection, have a look through the samples, and then I will try and squeeze in a cheeky demo before we announce the giveaway winners. So let's do it. Oh, hi Belinda. Hello, lovely. Hope you're well. Right, let's try and remember how to change. There we go. Oh, has it not been on me the whole time? Has it been on the desk? Oh, well, you've been having a look at it then, haven't you? I'm so silly. I'm looking at myself, chatting away, and you've all been looking at this, which is much more attractive, I have to say. So, oh, camera operator error there. So you've already seen the collection, so I don't need to say anything else, do I? Let's just let's wrap up the live. Right. Yeah, there's a bit of Audrey in there, Lynn. There's a little bit of I really love, I don't know about you, I hope you do as well. I really love fashion sketches, fashion designer sketches. They're nice and toned, Belinda. My nails are in a state. I've been gardening. So I love fashion designer sketchy figures. So we've got those as well. We've got an amazing stencil, which you'll see featured in lots of the samples too. So yeah, these are really, really, really cool. Let's have a look at the papers first, because it's probably the only thing you haven't actually seen. You go ahead, I have you. I love it. Well, at least you're going to be all glam once it's all washed out. You've seen it all now, haven't you, Nicola? Let's fast forward. Let's just get on to the end. So, limited edition, the 8x8 paper pad. The palette for this is white, black, a nice smattering of gold, and these really lovely kind of peony pinks. So I just thought these would be lovely to work with, and these are eye-popping florals as well. If you cut this out, you've got a really amazing kind of focal point just in its own right. But you can see here, you've got those kind of contrast in the foliage in the black and white stripes, which will be a recurring motif as well. You've got this kind of high fashion. You've got the glamorous lips there, but with splashes of gold and the black and white stripes. So you can see how these designs are going to flow into each other. I absolutely love this one. I know this is probably one of the slightly plainer of the papers, but I just love the fact that you've got your black and white stripe then with this smattering of gold dots. And that's what's inspired a stencil duo, which is in the shop and which I'll show you as we're chatting away. It's not in the main collection, but it's a duo I've put together with stripes and with polka dots, so you can create your own backgrounds in this style. Because I think it's always useful to be able to recreate or do different things with that same pattern look. Here's another amazing floral. I've got one cut out. You see these fabulous peonies. So I wanted the florals in this to be really bold, to be really kind of striking, but with those kind of mixed media patterns in the background as well. So if you use it as a whole sheet or as something that you cut out, looks amazing. I love this one as well. I don't know which orientation I put it on, but again, your golds, your reds, the black and white, your pinks, I should say, really slightly pinker, slightly softer pinks here, again with that lovely collage layered look. You know that you probably know now from the papers is something that I absolutely love too. You can, of course, add it to your order, Lynn, lovely. If when we get to it, or when you can order again, and I'll always refund you the postage. So that would have tipped you over into free postage, actually. So yeah, just throw it in another basket, and we'll sort it out. So this for me is a little bit 80s with those kind of decadent drips. So it looks like gold foiling. So it looks like we've done Brian's trick with the gold foiling, but these fabulous lips here, real kind of, I don't know, 80s poster style. Again, pinks, golds, blacks. I love this colourway. Love this colourway. Another floral. So you get three, I think from memory, three of these large floral pages. And of course you get three of each design. So you've got plenty to go at for cutting and layering and decoupage. So even if the kind of fashion imagery in the stamps isn't your thing, this paper will work independently. I love this again. It's kind of a really soft gold dot. So again, you can see a kind of extension from the black and white paper pad, but now in a recurring pattern. So you've got there, for me, those two, the black and white stripes, and this one are your two blender papers. They'll work with the more highly patterned ones, but still tie it all together. And then again, black golds and just those beautiful soft pinks. Isn't it lovely? I think that's me back to the beginning. So it is a bit of a special paper pad, this one. I absolutely adore it. And I think, they're versatile in that you've got patterns and florals and backgrounds that are going to work with lots of other things. And again, as I was saying, remember the flower dance ladies in those beautiful silhouette figures, they're going to work beautifully with this. And I can imagine them looking fantastic with the large floral elements as well. Oh, did your internet crash, Julie? I hope mine doesn't crash. That will be a problem while I'm live. Let's have a look at the A5 stamp set. So this is the one that I'm meaning when I say that I'm always really intrigued by fashion sketches, because they're quite clearly figures, but they're really abstracted, really loose. You can imagine throwing some kind of soft watercolors around these just to give them a bit of movement, but you don't really need to do a lot with them. If you heat emboss them in gold or in white, or just use it as line art, they're really striking figures. She's got a little bit of an Audrey style to her as well, I think, in terms of referring back to the A6 stamp as well. So just two little sentiments on here. Don't be like the rest of them, darling, from Chanel and limited edition. So I think, again, these are going to work if you like your really arty, abstract stuff, whether you're thinking birthday cards. They're really kind of easy to use designs, because you don't need to do much colouring, and any colouring you do can be really loose. So that is the A5 limited edition. And then we've got the A6, and so this lady always strikes me as a kind of a day at the races or wedding, etc. But again, that beautiful large hat. There's so much you can do with this one, actually. I think this is a real kind of worker image, partly because it is a big image. I mean, you can see it's taking up the majority of that A6 stamp. But paper piecing, using a bit of colour. I've used it directly onto the pattern papers and then brought the face back out. It's great for colouring with your markers, watercolour, but it doesn't take a lot of colouring as well, which is something I love about my images. So yeah, she's really got lots of attitude. So that's the A6 stamp set, which is elegance, and the words in this is "You've got style," and elegance is the only beauty that never fades. I wish I had some of that then. Then in this collection, in the bundle that you'll see on the shop as a single item, of course, all of these things are on there as individuals as well. For those of you that may particularly kind of seen a specific part of the collection that appeals, we've got these two amazing stencils. We've got Moi, which is the lovely kind of background of lips. Now, we have had this out before. Again, many years ago. In fact, when I was looking at the cutter, I think it was probably about 4 years ago that this one came out. I thought it worked great with the lips in the paper pad and as a cool background. Great for Valentine's as well. So that's in the collection. And then the new girl on the block is, we called her Diva. We've done a few face stencils in the past, and they're always really popular because I think, like me, you're probably or some of you will be a little bit challenged by creating your own faces, but they're really great to have as focal points on your more kind of mixed media projects. And a stencil gives you that versatility. She's really easy to use, and you'll see from the design team samples, it's a really popular one. So absolutely worth checking out Diva. She demands to be the star of the show. I've got an idea for a journal spread with her. So if I manage to get a video filmed for Sunday, things are a little bit hectic over the next couple of days. But if I do manage to get a video filmed for Sunday, I'm thinking of using this on a journal spread. So stay tuned for that. And in that bundle that I've just shown you there, I'm also throwing in a pot of champagne on ice, the lovely gold Stella paste, and that's free on top. So the pricing is fabulous. I can't remember now what it is off the top of my head. I think it's full price. Forget this, because I'm not even put this into the full price, but I think it's around £55, and I've got it on the shoppers £43 with this as an added extra. So it's a really, really good price for a lot of craftability. Now, I said I'd show you the other stencils, but I'm just having a look around. I'm not sure if I bought them up. I went and got them earlier as well. Well, I'll show you these, but this isn't going to do them much justice because they're dirty. So what I've done is I've got spots and stripes. So we've got a confetti polka dot, and I'm going to use this in my demo, so hopefully it will make more sense when you see it in action. But the idea for me was that you could create your striped background, of course, in any colour. It doesn't need to be monochromatic. That's just because the papers are on in this particular collection. But you can have your background stripes, and then you can just lay over the polka dot confetti over the top. Obviously, I'd recommend using Stella paste to get some extra shine. Any colour combination will work. But I put them together as a stencil duo, not because they're designed to be a layering stencil per se, but because I think they will layer beautifully and also work great on their own as individual designs. Because this, of course, you can imagine colouring this in a couple of different colours and moving it around, and you get a fabulous background. So the duo of these is I think called Spots and Stripes, and that is available as a separate item on the shop, not as part of the main collection. Well, I hope all that makes sense, and I hope you like it. I really hope you like it, because I think this is we've been kind of moving a little bit more. I was noticing with our collections into kind of the figures, and we've had the Beauty in Bloom, we've had the flower dance, and now we've got these kind of fashionable figures, and I think they'll work together as a beautiful kind of combination of designs. But don't take my word for it. Let's have a look at some of the fabulousness that the design team have come up with. You're planning on robbing a bank, Vanessa? You're late to the party, Lisa, but don't you worry, we've got plenty of inspiration, so you'll get a good feel for what's in the collection. So this is the first card I've just got in the pile. I have tried to shuffle them up today. Let's see how successful I've been with that. You're planning a heist. Oh dear, I know. So it's a kind of crafters doing crime, isn't it, to pay for all the amazing stuff that's available. So this is a very, very simple card that I put together, which is literally using our wonderful stencil over some of the pattern paper, just in black. I've cut her out. I've laid her up over one of those amazing flowers and used a panel of the black and white paper with the sentiment. And that, I mean, that is just so simple to do. There's no ink, well, there's obviously inking up the stencil. There's no amazing techniques with this. It's just the papers working perfectly together to you break them down and put them back together in different configurations. This one, I'm going to take a guess, is Ali. It is Ali, just because she's the queen of the heat embossing, and she's done this rather lovely lady in gold on the black, and she's got one of the other figures as the background pattern, and looks really quite abstract because obviously she's got them at different angles, and that looks a bit fancy. I love popping it towards the light. What do you think? Do you think you're going to try and hold people with a glue gun? This is, I think, I'm going to say Kerry, because it's not, no, Brian. I can see his initials in the corner. And Brian, a bit like me, but in a more slightly more arty way, has broken these papers up. He's torn down the middle, so you've got two different designs here, but they work beautifully together. The colourway just blends really nicely, and then the figures are stamped in that, almost like kind of coming down the catwalk down the middle of the page. We've got another card made with our lovely diva, Brian. And I think he's used acrylic paint here. We've got the Moi stencil in the background. We've got the gorgeous figures. They're gold embossed. They give you a real pop when you get them, when the light hits them, and all of that on one of the pages. Aren't they just so cool? Effortless layering, and he's stenciled the lady over the polka dot paper from the papers as well, which I love that. I do like stenciling this figure over a coloured background. If you've done a cool inky background or one of the papers, I think it's great to have those different elements coming out. She's a strong figure, so you won't lose the features over the top of something inky. I want to say Ali. It is Ali. So she's heat embossed one of the fabulous figures in white on this one, cut her out. You've got some of the flower dance. You remember the monochrome black and white stripe washi tape, which of course works perfectly with this collection. Lots to see in this one. White heat embossed the lips in the background. So it's amazing how quickly elements that you add to the papers become part of the design. This is by Ali, I'm very sure, Ali. Yes, it is. So she's done the alcohol, I think it's alcohol markers on the lady there. So she's looking very, very stylish over the papers. You don't need to do much to these because the papers have this beautiful palette. I love the way it's broken up into panels. And the images themselves are quite strong in terms of the line art. Then a lot of this comes together very quickly. I love this by Kerry because it's a really muted, soft, a really dreamy look to the stencil here. Again, over one of the papers. So she looks really quite ethereal. It's good to see her. Actually, Ali's done one as well where the lady's in purple. So despite the questionable choice of colour, it's good to see her in colours other than black as well. This, I think, is from our wonderful Kerry too. It is. And I love this because she's got the three figures kind of standing on the lips of the papers, and she's dual embossed them in black and gold. So she's captured elements of the outfits in gold. It's really, really clever how she's put this one together. And of course, all of that merges then seamlessly with the gold foil look from the paper pad. So it's really cool. I love that. Kerry, I was going to say Brian because it's a big card, but it's a Kerry card. So Kerry has used that flower dance washi tape all the way around this panel, and say that's really going to kind of tie in with everything else in the background. Some washi tape in the background. You've got your papers, and then all she's done to her elegant lady is just add that band of colour at the top of the hat. Yeah, it is clever, that dual heat embossing, isn't it? I think I'd make a really hot mess if I tried to do that. Here's a simple card from me. Again, just using those beautiful lips in the background in a soft pink. We've got our lady. You can see this is what I mean about the fact that they just make a lovely figure isolated on the card front, and I used every little scrap of this black and white paper that I could, and so I've used that to ground the figure. Very, very simple. Just really, really, I think just that the artwork just kind of does the work for you. It just shines. So we've got our Kerry, I think, yeah. And what I love about what Kerry's done, I have seen other people do it as well, but I keep forgetting to do it myself. But I love how when she's done the disc journal pages, she's been using the washi tape down the edges. So of course the washi tape will just give you a little bit extra reinforcement on your cardstock, but it also has a decorative touch as well. So she's got the lips here. I think it's in Party Dress. It looks like a pinky one. So Party Dress Stella paste. And then all she's done is added that little pop of colour to the lips. So simple. And this is a really easy image to cut out as well, for those of us who are not fans of the very detailed fussy cutting. I think this is a Brian. No, it's a Kerry. Sorry, Kerry. Black and white. You can see that polka dot. This is from the papers. The design team didn't get the spots and stripes stencil purely because I only came up with it yesterday. So obviously they've been using the paper alone on their makes. Kerry's just added that swoosh of colour there with, again, that flower dance washi. So that's giving you the abstract colour, but it's slightly translucent being washi tape, so you can still see the stripe behind it. And then say just cut out the face. Looks amazing. I look. This is a slightly more arty take on the Diva stencil. I think it's. I keep giving your amazing samples away to other people, Kerry. So this is I love this. It's got the wings of change, the butterfly mask, just very softly as a stencil stamp. You know, when you clean off your stencils, in those beautiful soft colours. I think that's so lovely. And the inking on this is really clever as well, where you obviously can see the image. She's got the outline of the hair inked in, but you've still got plenty of working space in the middle. Oh, thanks, Jane. Well, I'm glad everyone enjoyed the disc binding. That's really cool. I've distracted myself. This one's by Brian. I got there in the end. Again, combine the papers beautifully. You've got your lips just peeking through there. You've got your two figures. Aren't these great? So I mean, this is he's got at least 4 different patterns from the paper pad on that card, and it's a large card as well. So they all really do kind of complement each other. I think this is Brian as well. It is. I think this could just be a single sheet of the 8x8, but of course, because it looks like a piece of mixed media art in its own right, then just that figure emerging from it, job done. It isn't working up for you obviously at all. It isn't. I should have just kept them as batches. Oh dear, me and my bright ideas. I love this. Look at it. Look at that. Kapow! Look at that gold. It's been a disaster of a life, hasn't it? I mean, I've spent all this time talking to camera when you were looking at the desk, and now I can't get my design team samples right. So Brian's used the glorious A6 figure and also images from the A5. I love that. And then that big floor just popping behind them. So you don't need to do a lot to these to make them really striking because of that fabulous line art. And here's another case in point from Ali. Where she's white heat embossed the figures. I love this one. This is a stunner. Again, just a panel with the figures heat embossed, set at a bit of a fashionable angle over the pattern paper, just a dash of gold. Can you see that there? That is just that is a very cool card. So this collection was obviously a dream for Ali because it really just lends itself to heat embossing, which is her superpower. Here's another one from Ali. Now this is where purple's come in. She's just doing it. She did it on purpose to wind me up, but it looks amazing, doesn't it? Look at that. So the figures, the stencils, heat embossed in purple, and she's got some of the moi stencil around the edges. So it's good to see it in a completely different colorway. So these are the kind of more pastel colors. It's a bit like Kerry's one with the butterflies around the face. Just because the paper pad has those rich pinks and blacks and golds in there, it doesn't mean that that's the only color combination that's going to work with these designs. Here's one from Brian. Smaller, but it's a small. Oh, they're just trying to confuse me. I always think of the bigger samples as Brian's. I just have to get past it. So again, the figure and the lady, and I just love the fact that the scaling of these works so nicely together. I'm enjoying the gold heat embossing on these samples. Now I know this is Brian because he's used and he's created. In fact, he's created two of them. These fabulous little kind of square inches and twinches that he does. I love these. I think there's such a clever way of breaking the stamp artwork down. So you've just got that hint of the figure there. Again, another combination of the papers. You won't be wasting any of these papers. You can absolutely layer them up, just little strips of them to accentuate the card. And he's done the same here, again with those background papers, but the layering up gives the card a real kind of special kind of dimension to it. Very, very clever. So yeah, I love these. I love how tactile they are. He does a grand job with those inches and twinches and dominoes. Here's one I think I did. In fact, I did do it, so I can attribute it to myself. And this is the one I mean, where I stamped it directly onto the paper because I wanted to make use of this splash of pink from the corner. And so that's what obviously then is coloured in the dress. And all I did to bring the image back out was a white gel pen on the inside of the hat, a bit of white acrylic paint, I think, on the face, and some gold pen on the hat. So you can still see some of the texture and imagery from the paper behind it, just poking through, but she herself is seamless onto the page. So she really does hold her own on that, doesn't she? With those strong colours. And then I think this, oh no, I haven't got any more. I've got this sample here from myself, where I've used some of the champagne on ice, the gold Stella paste through the lips on that background paper, really just echoing the dark lips there. And then my favourite way of overlaying an image when I've got a busy background, which is heat embossing the figure on vellum. And I just use some of the washi to ground it. And then was my last one here, which is, so I've used, I think that this is, of the figures, this is the really cool abstract one. So I've stamped that one in pink, used some gold to accentuate it. And then I just stamped one of the other figures in pale grey behind with that sentiment, "Don't be like the rest of them, darling," which of course works really well, doesn't it? So yeah, you could just imagine this particular figure being the focal point or the lead on the catwalk. Although, yeah, Steve, Mr. G, when he looked at it, said, "Oh, it reminded of somebody, a rock, kind of a rock star at a concert with the backing singers, etc." So, it can be what you want. Of course, it's craft products. That's what we do, isn't it? We bring you craft products for you to create and bring your own imagination to them. So that is a rather cool combination of designs, but particularly the fact that there's so much you can do with that paper pad. So much you can do with the stencil. The stamps are so unique. I'm just so excited about this collection. I cannot tell you how excited I am, because I've been really kind of, as soon as I kind of came upon the theme or thought about the theme, I realized that it was going to be one of those where it's hard to stop. Yeah, I love opening the samples, Lynn, because they always kind of make me think about the collection in completely different ways. I try, to be fair, not to look at the samples until quite close to release date, because I want to kind of approach the collection fresh myself from a creating point of view and not be overly influenced by what the DT have already come up with. But they are an endless source of inspiration, and that's why having the album in the Facebook group is so good, because all those samples go into the albums on Facebook for you to refer back to. So once you get the products at home, or even if in a few weeks or months you're getting those products out, then you've always got that library of ideas there for you to refer to. Right. So I hope you've enjoyed having a flick through and to see all the papers and all the various bits and bobs that we've put together. And thank you for your comments, everyone. I'm really glad that you liked it. I thought you might like this one. I thought this would be something a little bit different that would inspire you. So what I'll do first, because I've talked a bit quicker than usual. You're probably all breathing a sigh of relief at that. So they did only deliver them yesterday, Ali. I was about to message you about the samples that they were yesterday. It has been it's very chaotic here this past week or two because of the decorating we're having done. So I was in a panic. I was going to message you because I was in a panic that maybe I'd misplaced them, but then they arrived. So it was a storm in a teacup. Right, let me get some white card. I'm just going to very quickly, because I've got one that I've already inked up that's dry, so we've got background ready to go on our sample. But I'm just going to very quickly put together the spots and stripes stencil for you, just because obviously it's one that the DT haven't had the opportunity to use in their sample. So just give you a little idea. It's fairly self-explanatory. I think you'll probably be able to make out what I mean and how it will look. So I am going to take this down. 2 reasons. One is the thing with stripes is that is one of those stencils that is could be more prone to moving. So you want to work in the direction of the stencil. So when you're inking, you go down or you work with the flow of the design, so you don't inadvertently move the mylar. And the other thing is, I was going to for speed, I was going to do this with acrylic paint. So it always just helps to have to ensure I've got reasonably good contact with the card, because obviously acrylic paint is like a little bit wetter than ink, so it can be a little bit more prone to bleeding under the stencil. So I'll use some Deco Art, and all I'm going to do, this is because I'm impatient. I don't the patience for inking it up while I'm live. I would do if I was sitting and crafting, but given I'm live, I'm wanting to get the colour on quickly. So I'm just going to use you've seen me do this before, I'm sure, but just use a foam dauber, like one of the ink blending tools on Velcro. And I'm just going to pick up, so I've put the black paint on this paper I'm using as a background, and I'm getting it all onto the dauber, but daubing it out just because I don't want too much moisture on the dauber. I'd rather go back in and pick up some more, although I am just now doing a really good job of just working it all into that paper. Now, of course, the joy of a stencil the paper itself is beautiful in the pad, but it's precise. The joy of a stencil is you'll be able to convert this idea into any colourway that you want. You can make it as grungy or as neat as you want to. And really customize it. So I'm just pulling that colour down. I'm probably being overly cautious now and taking the paint off. Taking more paint off than I'm putting on. Yeah. And acrylic paint's easy enough to wash off your stencil for those of you who like to keep them clean. But equally, it does have the advantage of if you let it dry on the stencil, if you're going to ink over, it doesn't normally transfer off with the ink. Oh yeah, Jane is a Sunday ironer, and she watches Make It Sunday while she's ironing. I'd have thought that would have doubled the tedium. Pull it down. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try and get the video recorded in time for Sunday. It depends really how busy I am with packing orders. I just know that this space is going to end up being filled with overflow. While we do a bit more decorating at the weekend. So if I can get in quickly enough to film, I will do. If not, then I will absolutely film some more demos with this collection, but it might be early next week. Oh, see you later, Christine. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Right, last stripe here, everyone. There we go. When I do it and I'm not on camera, it doesn't seem to take very long. There we go. So this won't be perfect because I'm dragging acrylic paint down there, but you'll get the idea. I'm hoping you'll still have clearly defined stripes. You can see there. So that looks nice. And if ever you think, oh, it's gone, it's bled, or it's gone a bit smeary, obviously that's the edge there. Then just get your black fine liner out and just tidy your edges up if you're using black, obviously. So use your inks. There's nothing that really requires you to use the acrylic paint with this. I just thought that'd be a nice quick way of applying the colour. And then that's the fun bit where we can put some golds down. So obviously I've deliberately kind of put a little bit more detail. Which way? Let's do it that way. Doesn't really matter with these. I put slightly more dots on the stencil than are on the paper because obviously I want it to work well for you as a background in its own right. We'll add some gold. Bit of sparkle, of course. I'm having a look around to see if I've actually got there we go, palette knife. So I say there's no registration marks or anything like that on this duo because wherever you put the dots, it's not going to make really much of a difference to the way it looks. It's nothing that needs to be lined up. So hopefully I'm not forcing any of you into a life of crime. Don't come to me for bail money. I don't want my name mentioned in any court proceedings, please. There we go. I'm going over this really quickly. How cool does that look? So you can make your own patterned papers. I hope I don't sit down onto that stencil. You can make your own pattern papers really easily with that stencil duo, but as I say, you can totally use the stencils in there as their own things. So I'll just lift that up to camera, try and remove the worst of the damage from my hands. So sweet, isn't it? I like that. Now, of course, you could do coloured spots, and then you could shift it and do a second layer with starlight paste over the top, so you get kind of almost like a bokeh effect. It's a really nice little combination, this one. As I say, I've gone black and gold because that's the colourway for this collection, but I was quite pleased with myself for coming up with that. I'm easily pleased. Let me just take some of this away. So I'm not fighting with a lot of paint. So you can see here is the test piece that I did when I first cut the stencils, and I deliberately let this one fade out and grunge out a little bit. So I love that distressed edge, and I deliberately kind of then just let the Stella paste kind of become a little bit more uneven towards the bottom there. So you can really kind of give yourself a very different look. And we shall stick this down, and then we're going to have our fabulous, elegant lady. And there you go. I was trying it with ink and decided to go with paint. But using the same piece of paper. So we've got this layer down. So what I've done with our lovely lady is, and I mean this is obviously a technique we've all done over the years, but I've stamped and cut her out, and I've just done some pencil shading on the face and the inner brim of her hat. But I have also stamped her a second time onto a piece of the pattern paper, so that the outer edges, the outer garments, have those lovely textures and interest from the paper pad. So it looks, may not come across that clearly on camera, but it just has a little bit more detail and interest on those areas where I've been able to paper piece it. And it's very easy to paper piece as an image, because it's quite a simple design. When I'm not feeling inclined to colour, stamping onto my pattern papers and letting them bring the colour in for me is always helpful. I've cut her out with just a slight white shadow around her, a white halo. And then we'll just put her top on. So the colouring time on this was fairly minimal because I didn't need to do all of it. I do like my shortcuts. So then we have her here. I like that, do you? Has it gone very dark in here? Can you see me okay? Just move on. Okay. So, and it literally is as simple as that. Just showing you the stencil duo and how, even though we've got a strong pattern going on in the background, classy lady still very much remains the focal point. But you've got, one of the nice things about this is you've got those repeating stripes. So because they're going at different angles, vertically and then horizontally, she still has enough contrast to what's going on behind her. And she looks, these could be champagne bubbles, couldn't they? With the champagne on ice Stella paste. Now that won't take unless I stand here and hold it down because it's going on to glitter paste. I've got the You've Got Style in black and white. Dilemma. Here or here. I'm going to put her towards the bottom, I think. Yeah, and then we get to enjoy all that stencil work going on behind. So that'll probably all fall off until I spend a bit of time with it weighted down. Of course, she would look amazing with the kind of flower behind her as well. So that's another element you could have added to this. And look at that, covers her completely. I could have added that to the background. And how classy does that look? With the stripe of the black and white washi and just a sentiment. That could be a birthday card in its own right. Forget the lady altogether. So those florals in that paper pad really do hold their own. Right. I'm trying not to sit on any Stella paste. And I'm going to try on this occasion to turn the cameras around, so maybe I'm talking to the cameras for a change. Who knows? Am I back? Am I on? What am I like? So funny. So I try not to put my elbow into my wet stencil. So it's a really quick demo, but hopefully just gives you an idea of how, if you could do that whole design using the background paper, you don't need the stencils. You could choose the black and white paper from the pads with that focal image, which I've stamped onto the papers to give her a little bit more interest. So the stencils are just, and that's why I didn't put them in the main bundle. They were there as an additional way of extending the kind of things that you can do to create your fabulous backgrounds. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me have a look and see if our wonderful Ali has. So I've kind of lost track with the chat, but hopefully you're all enjoying it. Oh, thank you, Amanda, lovely. Yours is packed, lovely. I will be sending it to you tomorrow. So I've had to send Mr. G out to the storage unit to get some more of the gamer paper. So that's why I'm just a bit late sending it out to you, but it will be on its way to you tomorrow. I knew you'd like it. Let me see whether the wonderful Ali is on the ball as always. So the two winners tonight who are going to win the whole collection that I've showcased, not the stencil duo, but everything else that was in that core collection that's on the website as a bundle at a fab price. They are the lovely Susan Proctor and Nicola Moss. Congratulations, ladies. So if you can message me, please do, and then I can make sure I've got your address for sending it on to. If you can't message me on Facebook or you don't use Facebook, then just send me an email via the Funky Fossil website, and I will just check in with you to make sure I've got an address to send your prizes out to. But I really hope you like this collection. It's a little bit cool. As I say, if I don't get it done for Sunday, despite Jane's obviously kind of ironing commitments, if I don't get it done for Sunday, there will definitely be inspiration demos that I will film with this one, because I've got so many ideas. Some of them quick and easy, some may just be a little bit more detailed and involved, so you'll be able to see how I've come up with further projects with this collection. Of course, the DT will be filling the group with their amazing samples and inspirations that we've just had a brief flick through this evening. So obviously, please support and comment on all those wonderful bits of design that they've put together with the collection. And thank you very much for spending another Wednesday evening with me. I hope you like it. I'll have a look at your comments afterwards. But yeah, they're in the store now, so check them out. And even if fashion is not your thing, then hopefully you've enjoyed the demo and a little bit of crafty chat this evening. And I shall see you again very shortly. But in the meantime, take care and hopefully enjoy some sunshine. Bye for now.